Hi, this is Frank with a Frank Opinion. I had a dream last night. I had a dream that a contingent of co-sponsors of H.R. 676, John Conyers' Medicare-for-All single-payer bill in the House, a contingent went to House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi's office and started singing a cappella, "Please release me, let me go." Sorry about that. What they wanted was the ability to begin to talk openly about their support for H.R. 676. Now, when I called up Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi's office about 2 weeks ago, they really downplayed to almost zero her ability to either co-sponsor or lead an effort that would begin to expand knowledge and support for H.R. 676. I had a fundamental question about that, so I began to do a little bit of research. And it turns out that minority leaders in the House have a lot of responsibilities and a lot of clout. Yes. Now, very often what happens is that even senior House members, but certainly novice House members that have just been elected, junior House representatives, basically have to spend some time getting acquainted with the procedures of the House, get some notoriety on their own in their local district, begin to make deals with other fellow members, etc., before they can begin to exercise their muscle. So very often when a new House member says they're going to go up, or rather down to Washington, wherever they're coming from, and fight for you, very often they're not allowed to fight for you until they've paid their dues. Sometimes this is referred to as kissing the ring. In our own state of Albany, that was often the phrase of assembly members that were told, you better begin to kiss the ring of Assembly Leader Sheldon Silver, who happens to now be in jail for corruption, because you're not going to get anything passed unless you begin to play ball. So I did some research, and here are some of the fundamental responsibilities and powers of the minority leader. And it says in this little piece, the primary goal of the minority leader is to recapture majority control of the House. Okay, so how do they go about doing that? First, he or she provides campaign assistance to party incumbents and challengers of the other party. Well, recently that didn't go so well in Kansas, in the seat vacated by Pompeo, where a Democrat was running and came very close to winning, James Thompson, but actually reportedly received almost zero assistance from the minority leader in the House, as well as other organizational elements of the Democratic Party. So in supposedly the 50-state strategy that the DNC and others have been talking about, that was now going to bring back the House into Democratic control in 2018, when they had their first opportunity to make a play for an open seat, 4th District in Kansas, they let the ball drop. Another one is the minority leader devises strategies in consultation with other partisan colleagues that advance party objectives. Okay. Third, the minority leader is to promote and publicize the party's agenda. Well, affordable health care access for everyone is on the party platform. Not necessarily Medicare single payer, but it is in the party platform that health care is a right. The one bill that typifies that and exemplifies that more than any other House bill right now is H.R. 676. But we'll come back to that. The minority leader may call meetings of the Democratic Caucus, her whole caucus in this case. I believe there's 193 Democratic members of that caucus. He or she is a member of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. 50-state strategy, wresting control, primary responsibility, getting the House back into Democratic control. Names the members of the Democratic Leadership Council, chairs the policy committee, and heads the steering committee. Looks like, given all those roles, that her role, if she wanted it, might not be so negligible. The minority leader either does partisan opposition when the majority party has a bill on the floor, a policy, that is something that the Democrats loathe, that means that Democrats are not going to present their own proposal. But there's something else called constructive opposition. The minority party opposes initiatives of the majority party and offers its own proposals as substitutes. Well, in this case, you've got sitting there with 96 co-sponsors, nearly half of the Democratic Caucus, H.R. 676, John Conyers' bill. Get this one. Promote and publicize the party's agenda. An important aim of the minority leader is to develop an electorally attractive agenda of ideas and proposals that unites his or her own House members and that energizes and appeals to core electoral supporters as well as independents and swing voters. We know right now that polls that are credible are saying that regardless of party, single payer is the health care solution that the majority of Americans support. So if she's listening, she should know that. Now, it is true that she wants to have a party that coalesces, that gets along with each other. Right now we have either 95 or 96 co-sponsors of H.R. 676, a little bit less than half of the Democratic Caucus, which means that others may not be in favor. That means that you and I and everybody that you know, it's incumbent upon us to work to get members of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, members of the Congressional Black Caucus, members of the Hispanic Caucus to co-sponsor H.R. 676 so that our minority leader in the House, Nancy Pelosi, feels more comfortable in terms of beginning to exert some leadership with regard to what most Americans want, which is single-payer Medicare-for-All health care system rather than the ridiculous health care muddle that we have right now. In doing that, the minority leader keeps their party colleagues on message. They ensure that partisan colleagues, once H.R. 676 or a comparable equivalent is supported by the minority leader, minority members in the caucus are sent packets of suggested press releases, talking points, information packets in order to have town meetings. The minority leader can hold joint press conferences and consult with their counterparts in the Senate. In other words here, there's a million things that the minority leader can do in order to support policies that benefit the quality of life of Americans, that Americans are strongly suggesting is their preferred solution, and in order to encourage the base to in fact look to the Democratic Party in this instance as one that's looking out for them, as opposed to the Democratic Party that for the last 30 to 35 years has not. I urge all of you that might be looking at this and that might be sharing it to call Nancy Pelosi's office over the next 2 weeks and suggest very strongly that she release her Democratic Caucus members that have co-sponsored H.R. 676 to inform, to hold town meetings, to distribute information, to get on TV by hook or by crook and make H.R. 676 or its equivalent come to pass. Thanks so much.